This video will be diving into something that hopefully the majority of us have experienced before: workplace gossip. First up is social bonding and group belonging. Oftentimes, sharing information or one's opinion about another coworker during casual conversation, like how they performed in previous projects or how they are or what they did outside of work, strengthen the bonds between coworkers. Negative bonding happens too. If you have ever been in a toxic work environment before, you've most likely have had the urge to want to vent about a toxic colleague with another not-so-toxic colleague. Well, studies show that complaining can temporarily relieve stress. But let's move on to social comparison and impression management. Festinger's social comparison theory tells us that we constantly measure ourselves against others to evaluate our own abilities and opinions. In the workplace, this means that we're always looking around, assessing who's doing what and how we stack up against our colleagues. When someone shares a negative information about a coworker, like, "I heard Jamie's project is tanking," it might stem from jealousy or a desire to undermine a competitor. But there's also a more subtle form of this behavior. Sharing positive information about others can just be as strategic. Think about when someone says, "Mark's idea in the meeting was brilliant." This isn't always pure admiration. It might be a calculated move to align with high performers or gain favor. Now, let's explore how organizational culture shapes workplace information sharing. In positive workplace environments, teams engage in constructive discussions. They talk about how each other can improve and focus on ways to work better together. This collaborative atmosphere encourages open communication where feedback is given to help each other grow. Conversely, in negative workplace environments, the dynamic shifts dramatically. Employees might spread negative rumors about each other, often with the intent to undermine colleagues. Some may sabotage others' chances of promotion, viewing workplace relationships as competitive rather than collaborative. Others might share information in ways that make colleagues appear more negatively, hoping to elevate their own status by comparison. Now, let's talk about another side of workplace information sharing: emotional release and coping. Kirkland and Peld in 2000 found that employees often share information about coworkers as a way to process their emotions, particularly after a negative experience. Think about those moments when you had a frustrating interaction with a colleague, or maybe things haven't gone your way in a meeting. There's a natural human tendency to want to talk about it with someone else. This isn't just about chatting, it's actually a psychological mechanism for stress relief. When employees share information about coworkers in these situations, it's often an attempt to vent built-up stress and frustration. There's a genuine need to release emotional tension, and talking about the situation with others can provide temporary relief. Finally, let's examine the ethical dimensions of workplace information sharing. Near's 1996 research on whistleblowing behaviors highlights how information sharing can serve as a moral obligation when colleagues engage in concerning behaviors. Near's work show that ethical information sharing aims to protect others and maintain organizational integrity. When employees witness concerning behavior and choose to report it, they're acting on moral obligation to create a safer, more equitable workplace. Employees might share information about unethical behavior for several reasons, like to warn fellow coworkers about potential dangers or unfair treatment, to inform superiors so that they can take corrective action, or to address workplace issues that affect the overall work environment. Alright, and as we wrap up our exploration of workplace information sharing, let's summarize the key insights that we've gained. For emotional release and coping, positive information celebrates successes and boosts morale by acknowledging achievements and fostering a sense of collective pride. And for negative information, provides an outlet for relieving stress and venting frustrations, helping employees process difficult workplace experiences.